keep getting in comments when I write something about a Tacoma or a Hogan or something like that, often, and I check some of these people out sometimes on Instagram and see their swings and see their handicaps and the cards they post. So I'm quite often getting told by like these 15 to 20 handicap players why I'm wrong. How can you possibly believe that this one feels as good as a Japanese forging? What a load of nonsense. And I'll watch him duffing it 3 foot in front of him on Instagram. I'm like,
well, hey, if you say a bad word about Joe Ferguson on a YouTube video, he's coming to find you.
I will check you out.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Kickpoint, the Golf Gear Show. Thank you for joining us for another week, an hour or more, probably more. Always more, isn't it, Joe?
Likely more,
equipment chat. Hi, Joe. How are you?
Yeah, good, mate. How are you?
Good. How's your week been?
Good.
Okay, then, this week, Joe's flying, everybody. Joe's ready to go. Boom.
Let's do it.
This week, D2C, direct-to-consumer. What are the best brands?
Do you say D2C, not DTC?
No.
Okay.
You could say DTC. We should pick one. What should we go for?
Two's easier, isn't it?
D2C.
D2C.
That flies off the tongue.
Cool.
Which of the brands like Tacoma, Ben Hogan, Maxfly, Tour Edge, and others? We're going to talk about them, aren't we, Joe?
We are. We're going to talk about them. We're going to talk about what they excel in, what they could do better, which are best in certain categories, in my opinion.
And what they are, quite frankly. Yeah, what makes them different from the big boys. I've just had just had a millionaire shortbread, and these things are lightning. They're tiny.
Doesn't respond well to sugar, Dan.
Shout out to Waitrose. Hey. You guys know what you're doing.
You are looking to sponsor any podcasts at all?
Imagine we got sponsored by Waitrose.
It'd be mint, wouldn't it? Imagine how many shortbreads we'd have.
Imagine our lunches, gang. That would be huge. No, one more of them and this becomes completely untenable as a show. Ask the Pod is back, obviously. I've got a surprise one for you, Joe, actually, which you're not going to like. And then the one that we pre-arranged, as well as some other correspondence from the good folk on the internet. And then an interview, What's in the Bag with Retief Goosen. Now, Joe, sell it. Keep people on. I know it's Retief Goosen. I know he's not been relevant for a while, but...
Wow.
I'm being honest.
Okay. Yeah, well, Goosen was one of the best players in the game for several years, multiple major champion, one of the best ball strikers there's ever been. And those of you listening to an equipment podcast, if you like people who know their equipment and are nerdy and care about things and do things themselves and build their own clubs and that kind of stuff, then this is the man you want to listen to.
Well, I'm going to listen now.
Struggling to sell it because I haven't listened to it yet.
Well, I'm going to listen to it now.
I'm going to listen, for sure.
No, it's not been edited yet. Sam Diath, co-host, friend, colleague, did that interview for us at the Senior Open a few weeks ago. So another jam-packed episode, Joe. But before all of that, L.A.B Golf. We must talk about them. They've been sold, right, to a big company, about $200 million, I believe. I watched a great interview, which I would go and push people to on the Fully Equipped podcast with Sam Hahn himself. But I wanted to get your reaction to it because this is actually on brand. It's on this episode, a D2C brand that's now staying that way. But it's just going to, hopefully, by all accounts, be able to
D2C,
grow.
Because we need to get into that, the definition of D2C, because they're in the big box stores, aren't they?
Oh, true.
They're in
Scottsdale.
Golf Galaxies, places like that, PGA Tour Superstore. So
ignore me there then.
So probably not. But initially started thereof. Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because they've been such a big part of the podcast from the start. That was probably my first big rant on social media.
We've got a whole swear jar dedicated to the brand.
Yeah, I don't have much opinion on it. And in terms of the operational... So I text Sam Hahn when I saw the thingy come out on Instagram and said, screenshotted it and said, is this true? The news, whatever. And yeah, he said, yeah, blah, blah. And then nothing operationally is going to change. I'm still going to be there. The message is still going to be the same. We're just going to get more into putting as well as putters. So I'm guessing there's some sort of instruction stuff going to be going around, maybe training aids, maybe expanding from just creating putters. They want to help people putt better, and that doesn't just mean putting putters in people's hands. So I'm intrigued to see what that means. But yeah, there's been a load of people. I saw like loads of sort of disparaging things saying, the L.A.B fanboys after they realised that L.A.B's just to sell out, and all these like memes of people crying. It's like... a bit deep, lads. I don't think
it's a good thing for the L.A.B fanboys, I think, because operationally they're going to be able to be a little bit more spread, i.e. across the globe, doing their stuff. So they're out of Oregon, right, at the minute.
Yeah.
I think Sam Hahn wants something in Asia, probably Japan, and something in the UK to help get L.A.B putters quicker. That's a good thing. And more investment means more time to spend, and they're going to stay as a putter company. That feels like it's going to ring true for the company. With more money, that's a good thing.
And do you not just think it's just a real success story in this day and age? The much significantly bigger brands with bigger investment, bigger HQs, bigger R&D departments, that a little brand, that's not disparaging, they were a very little brand, can just pop up with a message, with some strong marketing and a product that really works and resonates with people, and can then just a matter of a few years later turn that into a $200 million alleged sale. Great success story. I don't know what's to be sort of salty about that.
And they've not been bought out by one of the big OEMs, the big manufacturers, and just disappeared and just have all their IP ripped out.
Just private equity.
Just private equity.
So I wonder whether that was ever a discussion. I wonder whether, like an Odyssey, a Titleist, or anyone, I wonder whether anyone went down that route.
Hans said in the interview there was never anything serious in conversations. I'm sure there was some very casual chats with people, he says, allegedly, etc. Have I covered all the bases there? Just make sure I didn't say anything I shouldn't. But no, it's great it's not gone to these big brands, I think. And L.A.B stays L.A.B, which would be a bit more money, shoved up their... I said that. It's horrible, isn't it? Shafts,
shoved up those shafts.
And shoves up those Acra shafts and those onset grips.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I've got to say about that. I'm looking forward to seeing what comes from it.
Yeah, well, I thought we'd just... react to it as an equipment podcast. It feels right.
What does make me laugh so quickly as we're on it, all the companies that came out initially mocking the concept of zero torque and this is just a fad, snake oil putters, this and a lot of people, you could probably dig out, if I was really vindictive, you could dig out several interviews from leading putter expert at X company, at Y company, saying why zero torque's nonsense and blah, blah, blah. And now each and every one of them has their own range of zero torque putters.
Quickly, because we can talk about this now, or can we? I'm going to back us. The Ping onset putters, that's their response to this.
Well, we've seen those on tour.
Yeah, so Tony Finau's been trying one. So it exists, right?
Yeah.
And we don't know much about the tech, so we're not going to break an embargo by talking about the tech. However, Ping have now answered to it. Not quite with zero torque, but just an onset putter that still has toe hang in it, right?
Yeah, so they had 3 different options. So yeah, I think Fleetwood's caddy. Finau, I think, tried one at the event last week. I don't know whether he's still in it, actually. The event that Rose won. I never know when these episodes come out. Sorry, Dad. And we obviously tried them when we were out at Ping, but it's basically, they're not calling it zero torque, but there's onset to the putter, which is a characteristic of a lot of these zero torque putters. And there's 3 different shaft positions where the shaft axis enters. So there's one where it enters nearer the heel, which creates slightly more toe hang. Then there's a mid-level position of where the shaft ends, which is between the center and that sort of more heel area. And then there's one much closer to the center, which is much closer to zero torque, but zero torque isn't really mentioned. It's just sort of their onset range, they're calling it, aren't they?
And again, more of what L.A.B have done there, really, and they've shifted the entire market over the last few years. So good for them, and congrats on the sale, etc. We look forward to more of your work, L.A.B. Good, right. D2C brands, Joe. We're going to spend a bit of time talking about these. How are we doing this? Because we need to firstly, I think, define what they are.
Okay.
How they are cheaper, why they're cheaper. And then we're going to be talking about whether that gap's getting smaller. We spoke about last week, the Maxfly balls. You think in balls that gap's getting smaller. Is that gap the same in each sort of subcategory of golf equipment? And then you're going to pick some of your favourites from each category of equipment, driver, irons, putter, each brand that's doing well in that area. Does that all make sense? Everyone excited for that conversation? Let's start it.
Strange how you started that with how we're going to do this, Joe, because that's exactly what we planned and what we wrote down. So
trying to make it feel organic.
Okay.
For when, like, you know, for
yeah, let's do that, Dan. What a fabulous idea. Let's start from, if memory serves, let's define what direct-to-consumer is. So it says here, direct-to-consumer or D2C model is a business strategy where companies sell their products or services directly
no way.
to the customers.
No way. Mind blown.
Bypassing traditional retail intermediaries like wholesalers or retailers. This approach allows brands to have more control over the customer experience, marketing and pricing, while also potentially increasing profit margins and accessing valuable customer data. Ignore the last bit, that's boring. But
ChatGPT is very good, isn't it?
Isn't it? Yeah,
isn't it good?
Thank you, Gemini. If you do want to sponsor a podcast.
All of Meta.
Yeah, that'd be really good.
That'd be quite lucrative.
Wouldn't it just? But when we go to that last sentence of whilst also potentially increasing profit margins, that is true. But what tends to happen here is a lot of these companies think, okay, well, we can't charge the same as someone who's marketing the brains out of the world. So what we're going to do is take a little bit of that profit margin, lessen the entry point price, so that saving through the intermediary, not having that middleman, is passed on to the customer. So it tends to be what they are saying is they can create the same quality of product, but pass on the saving to the customer, and you'll get cheaper products that are of the same quality. There are some drawbacks to a lot of that, to that model, which we've seen before, which can be the try before you buy scenario. So you're not going to, generally speaking, there's not many places you can go in and try the Hogan Fort Worth MB and be fitted for it. For example, you need to be going with your specs, knowing what they are, knowing what's going to suit, head to the website, plug that in yourself, order them, they'll arrive at your house. So it's I guess, I mean, realistically, can you think of any others? That to me is the main one, because there's still a lot of these companies have plenty of custom options, shafts, grips.
There's some, but not as many. Still not as many as the big dogs, but there's still some. That's about it, though, isn't it? Really, when it comes to what's available to you, the golfer, right?
That will be a big one for some people. That it's going to be, because a lot of these, even some of the cheaper, when you are passing on these savings and you're getting much lower prices, you still, shelling out $400-500 for a set of irons. That's still a big purchase for the majority of the world, and to not be able to try that first will be a sticking point for some people. But is it a sticking point that would allow you to then mentally square off paying more than double the price just to try it first?
Another 150% often. When I think what some brands, I'll use Tacoma as an example quite often in this episode, because someone I just started playing golf with, who's just picked golf back up again, has bought himself a set.
Okay.
And just said what they've done well, Tacoma, is give access to online reviewers, people like us, YouTubers, the iron. So you can learn quite a lot. You get more than surface level.
Yeah.
Not a custom fit and be able to try it, but more than a surface level idea of what these irons are before you buy it. So that's a clever way, I think, these direct consumer brands.
It's the next best thing, isn't it? Yeah, increase the accessibility to testers, to YouTubers, to influencers, people like that. So you're getting that message out there. Some are doing that better than others. Like you say, Tacoma's been incredibly successful at that, and then obviously subsequently gone on to work with Grant Horvath, the Bryan brothers, people like that. So that message is really getting out there. I still think there's some of the brands that, and I guess it's an investment thing, isn't it? Because you're not going to, the world's not all fairies, is it? These people aren't just going, I think I'll go with Tacoma over TaylorMade. There would have been a significant, I mean, the Grant Horvath thing was an ownership thing, wasn't it? You got partnership within the company. So you're gonna have to pay something to get that exposure amongst those people. And I just think, I hope a lot of these D2C brands are looking at the success of Tacoma and going, that's a model we could follow there, because there's a lot of really high quality products that I test every day and go, I could happily game that, and that costs less than half of.
And that's what it often is. We're often talking less than half here.
Oh, it's not. Yeah, we're not talking a 10-15% saving. We're talking masses.
Like with golf balls, we did MaxFi last week. They're under $40. You're saving $15, which at that percentage of price is a lot. We're talking from 1,500 quid to 500 quid. Some of the
Tacoma products that you look at, under 500, under 500 pounds. Get forward to pitching wedge sets of really high quality. Genuinely high build quality and a great attention to detail and great looking product for under £500, and they'll do your loft and lie adjustments, and there are grips, shaft options, and
all of that like stuff.
It's really
they
impressive.
Come with. I mean, they can custom grip. They always come with grips, right? So, is the gap from the big brands to these DTC brands getting smaller? If so, why? And in which categories? Which we're kind of come on to in a second.
Yeah, so it's opinions, isn't it? It's all opinions.
That's what we're here to do.
I test this stuff a lot. And I think as a general answer to that question, yes, the gap is getting smaller. As to why, again, pure speculation, but I would suggest that for the last decade, and I stand by this because, again, I do this for a living and I test all this stuff year after year, and it gets more and more difficult to find new things to write and to find improvements. And you shouldn't have to be searching desperately, what can I write about this that means it's better than last year? Because that's not my job. My job is to report back and go, no, it's the same. Like, if you're in that, just stay. And it's getting more difficult. And as I said, I think I alluded to in the last episode, I think some manufacturers are relying on some of the parameters that are much more difficult to disprove. Much more anecdotal stuff around forgiveness, and they'll say it's not anecdotal. We test this stuff on our robots. So, well, that's cool. We just got to believe you then, have we? Which is fair, because we're not going to go and get robots and like we spoke about, spin decay on balls and things like that. It's really difficult. So a lot of the areas of improvement are getting more ambiguous and getting more difficult to prove. But yeah, just in terms of user experience, what I see on my launch monitor, what I see on the golf course, what I see in my dispersion, it's been a decade of really incremental, teeny tiny little boosts in performance.
So while the big guys are doing those teeny tiny things, the smaller guys have had
were
the time,
away.
that were miles away not long ago, and now had the time and the resources to go, bang, we're sniffing your boots.
Yeah, sure.
Famous phrase.
I wonder where you were going then. But yeah, so I would, again, a lot of it is research and development. A lot of it is the infrastructure of these larger companies, as we saw when we went around TaylorMade, Ping, Titleist to do the testing, the aerodynamics, the 3D stuff, the prototyping. So again, pure speculation, but I would imagine some of the smaller brands don't necessarily have the finances and the infrastructure to do a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
So they may well be piggybacking off the success of, okay, that's how you make it spin low. You move your CG here. That's how you increase MOI. We're going to put weight here. This groove works better for that style of iron. That's how you make a flexing faced iron that doesn't break. All that kind of stuff. And I would suggest that some of the companies, the direct to consumer or the more
and that's a common
well.
misconception. Even one that I had when we were researching this episode is like, no, you can get some really artisan, high quality, very expensive D2C brands.
Artisan,
right?
Great shout. I haven't even got that written down. You didn't even mean Artisan the company.
Oh, no, I didn't. I meant Artisan the word.
Artisan's another great direct to consumer brand. Super expensive, because they're handmade by the guy that made Tiger's clubs, Mike Taylor. So that's another brand that you can talk about. So Miura, essentially direct to consumer, incredibly expensive, significantly more than you'd pay for Ping, Titleist, TaylorMade, etc. So D2C doesn't always mean cheaper. It just means exactly what it says. It's direct to the consumer. They're not stocking it. Yeah, some of them. I would say that some of the brands would argue that they go direct to consumer because they don't want to be lumped in with the mainstream. You know, that you can go in and pick that off the shelf, buy that off the rack, and some of them want to create the aloofness, the air of mystery, the exclusivity of direct to consumer.
So if you ended up in Dick's Sporting Goods or American Golf as a new brand, you literally sat next to on the shelf, Ping, Titleist, TaylorMade, you're not going to get looked at. Stay away from that. Ooh, who are these? Ooh, mystery.
Yeah. We've said it before around like Savile Row suits.
Yeah.
You could go and buy a lovely suit from Marks and Spencer's or wherever. Thank you, Dan. That's really kind.
You looked lovely.
That's really kind. And then, but you can also go up a notch. You can then go down to Savile Row and have that tailored to your exact specifications. People might not know the brand or might not have seen it before. And that creates that extra air of intrigue and mystery. And
did you take it back in the end, or did you keep it?
I don't want to talk about that.
Okay, right. So there's the ground for this conversation set, right? Everyone knows where we are.
List some?
Let's just name some.
Okay,
we can do that.
So there'll be loads, and I'll have missed a load here, but the bunch that I'm probably going to be referring to throughout are going to be Tacomo, Ben Hogan, Maxfly, Sub 70, Vice, Tour Edge, which are kind of a hybrid.
Half and half, because I know you can get them in some places.
Rice and chips. New Level, Seed for golf balls.
Seed.
A UK-based Seed golf ball company. Sync Golf, another UK-based putter company. Avoda.
Of course.
The Bryson Irons, Crank Golf, Miura. There's loads more. There's again sort of more the boutiquey ones. Artisan you mentioned, Epon are another very high end iron they make woods as well, but super. It's one of those kind of, if you know brands. There's a lot of those in golf. If you know, that very, it's it's what we spoke about before, gatekeeping. It's like that. I knew this band before
they got cool.
But some of them have just stayed
down there. And if
in
you
the
see
shadows.
someone with it, they're really into their golf equipment.
Correct.
And probably wadded, right? Because they're buying really expensive irons.
Correct.
Good for them, quite frankly.
But to get back to the question that we were sort of answering before I just changed and started listing clubs, the gap is getting smaller for me for what we've said there. But also, that's not sweeping. The gap is getting smaller in every club department for me. So we've got drivers, we've got irons, we've got wedges, we've got putters. I'm not going to talk massively about wedges because I don't do the wedge testing for Golf Monthly, but I can speak on that a little bit. But I would say in terms of irons, the gap's nearly shut. They are so good. Some of the direct-to-consumer irons I've tried, and I'm talking about the lower price point ones here, not your Miuras that we know about. I'm talking about your Tacomos, your Hogans, your Max Flies that I tried the other day, New Level, which I tried some really impressive irons from the other day. And if I'm fortunate, I do it for a living, I don't have to buy this golf equipment. But if I was working a job and I had an X amount to spend on my golf equipment, I would absolutely, maybe this is the wrong platform to say this, but if I was constrained by a budget, and arguably even if I wasn't, it's a really smart choice to be able to save another £500-600 on a set of irons that are going to perform exactly the same as some of those bigger names. And you can then maybe redistribute that money to a golf holiday, to putting that into your driver budget, to buying.
Yeah, take the wife out for dinner, for goodness sake. She's not seen you for weeks.
Exactly. You've been off trawling the direct-to-consumer sites, haven't you?
I'm so with you on that, by the way. Again, I'll mention the Tacoma irons I've seen. Brad Schuff, hello.
Yeah.
Just bought them, hit some great. They look lovely. He did enough research to know which shafts he needed and which grips he wanted. And he's away. Yeah. And they're 500 quid. And he can, if he wants to go spend it on a driver or something, we might think there's a slightly bigger gap at the minute. There, you've just saved such a large chunk of money.
I've written a little rant. I keep saying that rant down here. See, in that low handicap sort of blade market, I see it a lot, and this is going to sound. I'm going to be careful not to sound all holy and thou here, but I keep getting in comments when I write something about a Tacoma or a Hogan or something like that. Often. And I check some of these people out sometimes on Instagram and see their swings and see their handicaps and the cards they post. So I'm quite often getting told by like these 15 to 20 handicap players why I'm wrong. How can you possibly believe that this one feels as good as a Japanese forging? What a load of nonsense. And I'll watch him stuffing it 3 foot in front of him on Instagram. I'm like,
well, hey, if you say a bad word about Joe Ferguson on a YouTube video, he's coming to find you.
I will check you out. But and they keep telling me why I'm wrong, and I'm like, I do it every day. It's my job, and I'm pretty good with fear, and I'm a pretty good player. And if I'm telling you they feel as good,
he's not lying.
I'm not lying.
There's
to
nothing.
I've got no skin in the game here whatsoever. It makes
this is
no
good
difference
for you.
to me.
It's a good thing they're as good.
Yeah, go buy them.
Go buy them.
If you want. If you don't, go and spend more. That's cool. That's absolutely cool.
That's
too.
also cool.
I'm reporting what I'm finding, and yeah, I am telling you that some of the Hogan Fort Worth MBs, the Tacoma 301 MBs, even at that price point, like £600, some of the softest and better, maybe the quality of forging and the processes isn't as detailed as some of as your Miuras, as your Mizunos, whatever.
Not enough to notice though for the normal man and woman.
Not enough to notice for. I've played tour events. Like, I'm a good player. I know what I'm feeling, and it's really, really good. There's only so much you can do with a lump of metal. It's a lump of metal shaped into an iron. There's only so much you can do. You can then, if you scale that up into the player's distance category, okay, there's a bit more tech there. There's variable face thickness. There's what you're going to fill that cavity with to create the right balance. But even in those categories, like the 101T from Tacoma, brilliant players distance iron. The Legend iron from Hogan, really, really good. And I'll go back to that New Level, 702 CB. What fantastic forged iron with incredible attention to detail on the sole, like a beveled leading edge, little topography on the back. Looks like a Strixon ZXi 7 down behind the ball, a Ping S55 in the bag. It's like a blend of everything, but super high quality. There's loads you can do with it. You can customize the ferrules, for goodness sake. You can pick out
that's
coloured
good stuff, eh?
Like, so yeah, I just see it a lot. I get told why I'm wrong in that, and that's just me venting because
have a breath. Everything's okay. You are loved. You are valued.
Well, sometimes I wonder.
Well, sometimes I don't think I am.
But going back into drivers,
can I just pull you up before you move on?
Please do.
You know, you need a breather anyway.
Please do.
So we're saying irons. That those are some examples there. Is that the category you think the gap? You said the gap's shut. Is that the closest gap?
Yeah, I would argue that it.
And how are they doing that? And is it because you said it's because it's a lump of metal? There's not much they can do else.
Correct.
And they're still using roughly the same sort of people and the same materials and the same processes as all these other big brands.
And a lot of the companies do some really clever stuff. And, I would say Mizuno, the Pro S1 that I just tried, they use like a copper underlay to further enhance the feel. Feels lovely. Feels really nice and soft. It's great. It's as good as experience you'll have hitting an iron of that type there is. But if I pull out a Tacoma, who could do this? In fact, I might well do it, find a naysayer, or do it myself, or get a number of people. I remember going off on a tangent here. Do you remember Gordon Ramsay, the F Word?
Yeah, what a show.
So
do you remember Gordon Ramsay?
He was, the F Word specifically.
Sorry, right, yeah.
So it was a show where he had a restaurant, like a live restaurant. He was getting people in,
good
celebrity guests, cooking live, cooking into a full restaurant as well. So it's like a full service. And I remember he got, I think it was Cliff Richard, the leading wine expert from whatever magazine, and someone else who had the most expensive collection of wines in the world, maybe something like that. There was the three of them on a table, and he did a blind test with like an Asda wine, one that was £100 a glass, and one that was £47,000 a bottle, and another one.
Mm-hmm.
They all had completely different. They were all completely different, and I think
why was Cliff Richard there? Has he got a good taste for wine or something?
Loves his wine.
He loves his wine, Cliff Richard. Yeah, right.
I believe. Good point. Didn't really quantify the Cliff Richard thing.
You just popped Cliff Richard.
All of these people. So I sometimes think it makes a mockery of some of these industries, and I would include like equipment testing amongst that. So always talking about, the notes of this are clearly more sophisticated, and I'm getting undertones of this, and they all had it completely different. One guy, I don't think one of them in the group got the order of expense correct, and most of them had it completely their way around. Everyone was like, well, clearly this is the most sophisticated, and it was like £3.99 a bottle from Aldi or whatever it was. And it's people want it to be different, don't they? They want it to be, it's so clear, you get what you pay for, not this filth.
Yeah.
And you get a bit of that snobbery with irons, and I'm here to, I don't want to be on the side of it when God, this is clearly a Miura. All right, well, let's find out. Let's put some people to the test. If I'm so wrong.
Can we do that?
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do it.
Like you blind test irons with people? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we're going to have to find people who are good at hitting golf balls with their eyes shut or blindfolded.
No, you could just sort of put a bit of, we'll workshop
people,
it.
Yeah, people. I wonder whether people know the profiles down by the ball. We'll workshop that, but yeah, I do want to get into that because I'm adamant that people, and I see it so many times in those comments, you're telling me that the people who've been forging this in Japan for 470 years is better feeling than the yeah, I am. It's fine. It's the same, mate. It's a lump of metal. That's what I'm saying.
Drivers.
Yeah, gap's bigger.
Yeah. So I thought as much here. And can you start for me, because I read your excellent review on the new Tacoma driver, and you were a bit disappointed by that.
Was a little bit. I think my interpretation of it, and again, I go back to some of the places we've been and some of the research centres and development stuff we look at, the amount of work that goes into the aerodynamics, the carbon composite crowns, the moving CG by 2 millimeters, the free hosel design of Ping, the variable face thickness, the AI smart faces from Callaway. There's
a lot going into there, isn't there? These brands can't do.
That's just not a lump of metal. That's proper scientific work. That's a real body of work and research and trial and error, iterations, and even they're still kind of iterating up and down a little bit. There's still the odd release that comes out that I'm not gonna call any out, but
mouth it to me.
Well, sometimes just some that, I mean, well, look how much more successful QI10 was than QI35, for example. I'm not saying QI35 is a dud. It's a nice driver. It looks great. Doesn't perform as well as QI10 for me. And I think that's been shown out by the usage on tour and things like that. Which I will caveat with the fairway wood's brilliant. QI35, I love that fairway. But what I mean is, tailor-made for it. It's difficult for people without those facilities to go through all of those tests and create something as sophisticated. Now, again, it's getting slightly closer. So I tested a Hogan driver the other day that I really, really liked. It was a PTX LST. Beautiful looking, simple, sat great, felt thuddy, was within a mile an hour of ball speed of anything I tested from the bigger brands. Spin was consistent. It's just a good solid drive. I think it was £299.
There you go, and that's nudging half price here.
Yeah,
a little over.
I'd love to. I probably will. In fact, I definitely should take it out on a couple more rounds and see how that plays out in terms of consistency. But I had a couple of really good sessions of hitting balls. A lot of balls, checking dispersion, pulling out some other drivers, comparing it in real time, and the data I was getting was really impressive. Tacoma wasn't so much. It was and potentially that could be it wasn't necessarily a driver for me. So that PTX LST, low spin tech, that was for a quicker swing speed player to try and keep the ball the spin down. The Tacoma one was a bit more about playability and forgiveness and getting spin. But whatever I did with this thing, I couldn't spin it under 3,100 revs. It's just a puffy, floaty, really safe.
Yeah.
Felt a bit tinny, looked a little basic on the bottom for me. And I don't mean to do the Tacoma down here because I love so many of the Tacoma products. The irons in particular, and that's my category as well. I think the irons are just phenomenal and could be in anyone's bag on any tours. I just think the driver, for me, unless they bring out a low spin version, but then you've still got the issue of, I think it looks a bit basic on the bottom.
Doesn't sound great.
It doesn't sound fantastic for me.
You've hit a Vice driver recently as well. They're coming more into the game. They used to be just a bit of a ball package shirt. They're now doing a full club line. How was that?
Really surprised me. Looked at it first and thought, great, here we go. Let's go and get this out of the way. Because it had almost like a patterned, almost flowery crown section. I was like, what's going on here? And the stock shaft, X-Flex shaft they sent through, kind of like a bright blue, and it was kind of, it almost looked like a novelty club when I pulled it out. And then the more I hit it, felt great, felt solid, really good numbers. And as I put it in behind the ball more, I became a real fan of the look of the head, and I started thinking, who do I think I am? Taking myself, so look, they've just made it a little bit more visually stimulating. That's actually fine. The shape's good. The finish is exceptional. They've just made it a little bit more interesting. Back in your box, Joe. And I started to really
back in your box.
Like the look of it. And I honestly, once again, talking a little bit out of both sides of my mouth, I think I could find a Vice adapter, pop it on a Ventus Black, and don't know how much difference I would notice gaming that Vice driver over my Ping G430 or my Callaway Elyte Triple Diamond. So there are certain brands that are getting closer, but I would still say we're not quite in the era of just go and get any D2C brand. They're as good as the big box. There's still some duds. Yeah. There's still some duds.
Be more
in that
wary on that one.
Slightly more vigilant in drivers, I would say.
So when you get sent this stuff to test, what do they send it in? Just their stock stiff, and then do you whack your Ventus in it?
Yeah,
if an adapter's available.
So but I mean, as I try and get it as close as possible. So some of the brands will send a premium shaft, like my Gamer Ventus Black.
Yeah.
Some don't have that in their matrix, and then some of them it's not that applicable to do, because all of a sudden, if you're chucking a £350 upchargeable shaft, then you're kind of negating what are you testing?
You're trying to review the package as the normal person would get it, right?
Yeah. So the bulk of that, whereas like in a more premium driver, most people are going to be fitted into that and go into
that's part of their matrix.
But I would still also test the stock shafts that come with those. But yeah, so if I'm testing a Vice, if I'm testing a Tacoma, if I'm testing a Hogan, whatever, I'll have a relationship with the people that send you that product, and I'll ask for something around 65 grams and your X-Flex. So some of them have their own proprietary shaft. Some of them will have, like the Hogan came with a Project X hazardous black 6.5. So that was great. So not necessarily my gamer shaft, but as close as you can to your own specs in what's available. Otherwise, you're kind of negating the process.
Any other shout-outs in the driver category, or do you want to move on to what else are we doing? A bit of putter and a bit of ball.
Tour Edge. I mean, I'm getting on to it. So we're going on to talking about what are the favourite driver, what are my favourite products in each category.
Let's do that now, shall we? Because I think we've had a good discussion.
Well, that'll bring us on to Tour Edge then.
Driver.
Tour Edge makes some really good drivers.
Smooth.
Thank you. So, right. So yeah. So what we're talking about here is if I had to go and play a fully direct-to-consumer brand bag tomorrow, what would I play? And maybe some other couple of recommendations around that. So if I was playing a D2C driver tomorrow in a professional event, I would play the Tour Edge C725.
Okay.
So really accessible price point. I think it's around 349, something like that.
Sub £400 in the UK, yeah.
Some really good premium shaft offerings, and it just took me by surprise when I took it out with a massive bunch in launch season last year. Your Ping G440s, your Elytes, your GTs, things like that, and it just stood up to everything. It looked great as soon as I put it down. The only thing I don't love about it is it's got a little stubby little ferrule. I'd love them to put a
Don't say that about its little ferrule. It can't help that.
It's got a stubby little ferrule that if they just...
Do you like a longer ferrule?
If they extended that ferrule to blend the head into the shaft a little bit more, it's quite abrupt stop of the ferrule to the shaft and quite a big step. I like that blend a little bit more. That's really fussy.
Total sidetrack.
Yes.
Ferrules, right?
Okay.
So they have no purpose.
None.
I didn't know that until we went to visit Ping, and I found out that because Ping are the way they are and Carsten Solheim is the way he was, an engineer, we don't need frivolities on our golf clubs. The ferrules are frivolity, and I've always said that. Decorative
frivolity, and you have always said that.
Which is mad to me, because it just feels like it's just right part of the club that someone popped on one day to help the shaft blend.
But it's frivolity and it's purely superficial, but it arguably does have some
visual effect,
subliminal,
psychological,
downgrain effect of it can make a shaft look longer, it can make a shaft look shorter, and somehow Ping have actually made it a functional piece because,
of course, they have.
If you notice, they put their little collar inside it, which centers the shaft to help control lie angle and make sure it's seated in the right position.
Well, they wouldn't have put a ferrule on if it didn't. They had to find a purpose for it to then put it on. Anyway, we digress. Apart from the short stubby ferrule, though, we love the Tour Edge.
Sits great, feels great, brilliant ball speed. Two models, the E725 and the C725. The C is the lower spinning sort of hot bomber one. Does a great job and really playable for that. Just got nothing but great things to say about it. Feels great, sounds great, performs great, looks great.
Great.
That's just great, isn't it?
Great. Any vocabulary today? We're just going to go with great.
Great. That's what I would play. My two honourable mentions in that category of, again, if you're shopping in the direct-to-consumer market, go and have a look at Crank Golf. So Crank, you'll be familiar from Bryson. So you might just think, long drive company. They're all 4-degree heads and this, that, and the other. No, they've got mini drivers. They've got pro heads, long drives heads. They've got some. Joe. You can even, if you want to just put on a little bit of yardage, they've even got some non-conforming heads. So if you're not going to play tournaments, you're not going to cheat here, but you just want to go out and play with your lads and smash it 15 yards past them, you can get some heads that aren't USGA RNA conforming. But there's some really tangibly worthwhile technology in there. The reason Bryson went into that to start with is created edition. It's quite
their website is so aggressive.
So Dan's just gone on the website.
Go on the website. It's the most aggressive thing on planet Earth.
It is quite in your face, and that's the brand.
I haven't put my ID in to access this particular website. Do you know what I mean?
But yeah, it's difficult to digest. You've got to do a little bit of research to work out which head model is for you. But they're sort of doing it by swing speeds. There's just a ton of options, and they're really brilliantly engineered. And because a lot of their time and budget has gone into making drivers for the quickest swingers in the world. So they were originally kind of a long drive play. They were one of the companies that most of the long drive hitters played. So they're so strong. They're really incredibly well built. And there's a bit more face curvature, so you get more gear effect. It's just a really interesting brand to take a look at.
Fascinating website. Again, this is one where you're not saving any money here. This is more of a boutique one you'd suggest, but they're fun. There's a fire, there's a flame on the face, and there's one called the XX.
That's right.
When's the XXX coming out?
Don't know. Going back down the price point, Hogan. I spoke about that Hogan driver. that PTX LST, if you're someone who's a quicker swinger.
I'm looking at it now. It's really pretty.
It is. And if you're someone who's a quicker swinger of the golf club who needs to bring that spin down, but you don't want to spend £600-700 doing it, go and spend 300 quid at Hogan. There's some genuinely good shaft options, grip options. You can specify lengths. Adjustable hosel feels great, looks really premium in behind the ball. I think that'd be a really good recommendation.
Didn't realise OEM stood for original equipment manufacturer either. So
did you not?
Thank you, Joe. Joe's reviews are excellent, aren't they?
Superb, yeah. Stunning.
Right, drivers, good suggestions.
Skipping over fairway woods because I don't deal with fairways.
Same thing, same brands.
Similar
I guess.
stuff.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Irons. What set would you game today alongside your Tour Edge?
What would I game? It would be tight. I've written 3 down here.
Gun to your head.
Tomorrow, I'm going to game the new level 702 CBs.
Lovely, good for you.
Yeah, beautifully made, great feel, fully forged, attention to detail on the sole, as I've spoken about. I always talk about that Srixon sole. It's not like a V sole, but they've actually done some beautiful grind work on the soles to get them in and out the turf, slippery like an eel, Dan, as we said before.
Slippery like an eel. That's a throwback to starting this podcast. Maybe you said that.
Feel great. Really responsive, lots of feedback, and the customization options that you get at New Level once you go on that website, which I assume you're doing now.
I'm on now. Where are they based out of?
It's a great question.
Great.
With no
answer, that's fine. They're pretty things.
Beautiful looking irons, aren't they? And when you go and build the set on the website, again, it's not just shafts and grips. You can go and get customized ferrules, like there's BB&F code ferrules that we've seen, so you can get some color options that really match your preferences there, and just super, really high performing irons. Dan's giggling at me about matching my ferrule preference.
No, I just burst out Scottsdale, Arizona like I had Tourette's. I've got a tick for naming cities and states.
Haven't you just? Did you do American studies as your degree?
Love America. Yeah, I did American studies. Very useful undergraduate degree. Yeah, I really would.
For a man who lives in Solihull.
Really would recommend it to anybody.
Other irons.
So you're gaming them, but shout out to
Tacomo.
Yeah.
Great range. So those New Level irons are a touch more expensive than, I think I looked at around kind of $799.
Which was one you tested? 702
CBs, and I did test another model which the reviews coming a bit later.
For a set. You can get them in the UK. They have a demo program.
Which again, that is something I needed to mention. Yeah, well reminded, Dan. So you can order just one iron.
Oh, good.
And then if you do like that iron, I think you can send that back and you get the value of that off the full set as well.
And you can get left-handed. And you can get head only.
Exactly. So if you're a real perv and you like a set of shafts that are on your existing clubs, you can save some money, buy head only, take it to a club builder or someone near you, get them to finish it all off, and you'll be a very happy man.
You're a naughty boy.
Then, so next up, Tacomo. This might be a boring one because Tacomo are probably right in the forefront of everyone's.
They're like the guys, right?
They're like the D2C daddies now, aren't they?
D2C daddies. That's going in the podcast title.
Thank you. But I'm just never not impressed by it. The irons, they keep it nice and simple. They've got that minimalist sort of Scandinavian look. That it's minimal branding, just
Danish,
really
Finnish. Danish or Finnish?
We had this before.
I'm going to do check it. My laptop.
4 or 5 models covering all bases. Mm-hmm. So this isn't the 27 models of PXG and Callaway where you just, what should I be playing here, guys?
Finnish.
There's
from Finland, don't finish.
You want me to finish?
Hey.
So 4 or 5 models covering the bases. So we've got a blade. We've got a player's cavity. We've got a player's distance. We've got a more distance orientated. And then there's the 201, which kind of sits as like a cavity.
You said it wasn't confusing.
That's the most confusing one. You could argue it should have stuck with 4, but for me, it's
one
a pretty
in each
simple
subcategory of iron. There you go, bang.
Love the 301 MB, love the 301 CB. Just feel soft, look great, simple. Just do everything you want them to do. And from a club builder's point of view, so they're so soft. I can tell you how well they're forged now and how soft they feel. When you need to change the lie angle, you just need a tiny little. Whereas some of them, you need to get your full body into it. These things just they are so. Again, actually, that's another thing. Maybe a bit consumer advice. If you do go into a Tacomo MB or CB, make sure that maybe once every 6 months or so, just take them to the pro shop, get them loft and lie checked.
Because smashing them out of the driving range or
they're more
firm ground as it is in the minute.
Yeah, or chucking them in your boot or whatever.
Yeah.
They are more susceptible for moving, which is a nice sign of quality, but adds maybe a touch of maintenance to it. It won't move loads, but worth checking.
Good advice, Joe.
And the 101T, just an exceptional distance iron. You can pick it up for £500.
Yeah, the wedges that Tacoma make. I know we're not going to do wedges, but they make some really good wedges. Full face, gorgeous. Go on.
I've seen them because they arrived at my house. Well, they should have gone to Sam, but they arrived at my house, so I got them out.
You had a little sniff, didn't you? Yeah.
And I thought they look great. The shaping's great. They've been designed by Wesley Bryan, who is the best wedge player on the PGA Tour over the past 5 to 10 years. Statistically, I think he led the proximity to the hole from 125 yards and in for like 2 or 3 years that he played on. Yeah, just like above every golfer. When you say leading, that's above everyone, right?
I'm aware of that. Yeah, top. Yeah.
Name a player.
Bud Corley.
He was above him, so he was above all of them. So that level of input of the sole design, the feel. I trust that. So I'm really interested to see what Sam makes of those.
Excellent.
But yeah, that'd be my recommendations in the irons. Sorry, one more. I've got to say, Hogan. This will go on. This is going to go on for ages, isn't it? Sorry about this, guys.
Hey, sorry.
I'll just get into this
stuff. If you're in the car, if you're at the gym, just come back to us later. We'll still be going.
The Hogan, Fort Worth MBs, the CBs, PTX Tour. It's a slightly more extensive range, which isn't always a bad thing. We get on this.
I don't like big ranges.
I know you don't, do you? Because you don't like thinking things through.
No. Tell me what I need. Move on.
Which is fine, but it's not over the top. There's just a bit more choice maybe than there is with Tacoma, and you do have to do a little bit more reading. But the quality and the aesthetics, how they blend the old kind of the old visual of like the longer ferrules, the knurling on the hosel, the sort of little marks you get, the boxier blades, but with some nice contemporary fonts and a bit more shaping and finish on the back. They're just stunning. Do you know what, Dan? I was bending my Fort Worth MBs the other day in the garage, and I thought, yeah, these are coming out next time I play. So the next time I play, I'm going to be a Fort Worth MB. Nice. And yeah, they're beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
You're bending your Fort Worth in the garage. They are actually out of Fort Worth, Texas, Ben Hogan. They make their clubs in Fort Worth, which makes complete sense to me.
Total sense. So I think Hogan were part of, there's a few of them. I think Ram might be one of, this might be complete nonsense. No. So check this out. Ram, McGregor, there's a few of the brands that were kind of bought out by the same holding company of buying a number of brands that had a lot of historical success and had fallen by the wayside. Now they're trying to reignite their sort of
they're based out of Redditch in the UK.
What, Hogan?
Yeah. If you want to contact them, you can call a number as a postcode in Redditch, Worcestershire.
There you go. Breaking news, everybody.
There you go. If you're in that neck of the woods, get yourself down. Hey, we digress. Where were we?
What's next? Over wedges. Now we're into putters. So if I had to play a direct-to-consumer putter, again, not my category, but I want to shout out a company that I've looked at and been, not Plop. Don't think you can find it. You can find some Plops on Golf Club to Cash, possibly.
Oh, fine. I'll try now while you're talking.
On there, Dan. Sync Golf, based on the south coast of the UK. This is essentially a guy who had an interest in golf and engineering, bought himself a CNC milling machine and just started going at it.
Yeah.
And has
get at it.
Creating some absolutely beautiful designs, British steel, milled in house. You can there's some stock models that I used to stock at Fitting Centre that I ran briefly, but you can also go down a full customized route. So you can, anything you can dream of, you can message Ollie online, go through the process. I'd like something that looks like an answer, but I want a swirly neck like that was on that Scotty Cameron that Rick Shields showed us on your video, worth a look, by the way. And I want this message engraved in the back. Yeah. And I want the profile. Like, you can do anything. And
what do you want to do with your?
So I've spoken to him, haven't I? So we speak a lot about my weird Odyssey toe up number 9 putter that I've had for years that I sort of love but sort of hate because it feels weird and looks weird.
Check out the what's in the bag for more.
Correct. So I've been in touch with Ollie and we're going to potentially try and start a process where I'm going to send him a spare head. He's going to map that, try and mill one in a soft steel so it feels better, add some customization to it.
We've just, I S you
Sorry,
not.
Interrupting.
I S you not. We've just had a comment through because we're doing something in a minute. 45 minutes ago on YouTube, Sam-LJ1RN.
Catchy.
A robot, probably. You should call your 3D printed toe up putter or anything you do with that putter the Joe Up.
The Joe Up.
That's huge.
That's big.
That just came in now.
That's a great comment. Yeah.
Thank you, Sam.
Well, that's done. So we're gonna try and make the Joe Up, the Odyssey Joe Up at Sync Golf. Will be the Sync Golf Joe Up, won't it?
Yeah.
And he's gonna mill out a little cavity to put an insert in there for me to get it feeling better. So yes, we're gonna try and do a video on that, which I'm in the process of trying to convince Holly to do. So we'll see how we go there. But yeah, for me, if I was going for a putter, the money I've saved on my Tacomas or my Hogans or my new levels, I'm putting that into the moneymaker down the bottom end. I'm getting something exactly as I want that's fit. Yeah. Right, ball.
Yeah, we haven't mentioned balls yet. Maxfly last week for a bigger dive into what they're doing, but Seed we've both tried. Vice, quite famous for their D2C way of selling golf balls. You know, they're quite popular.
I'm still yet to formulate a full opinion on this. I think there's options to save money.
Yeah.
But I still do firmly believe maybe this category more, maybe both, you bookend the bag, driver and ball, if you like.
With OEM stuff.
At the moment, before I get anything more extensive, I think I would probably feel safer just pulling out a TP5 or a Pro V1 or something like that if I was having to break par for my life in a professional tournament, which is the scenario you're giving me here.
Well, because with Seed, we tested Seed, and performance-wise, absolutely they stack up. However, we both agree the cover just tears up
a little bit
quicker. So you're going through them a bit more, negating the money perhaps you're saving on.
And again, there's a push and pull here, isn't there? They sort of advertise that their cover is thinner than a Tightness Pro V1, which really helps some of the performance elements of the ball. But obviously, if something's a little bit thinner, potentially it's more prone to scuffing up and things like that. And we did notice that, but aside from that, I really do like
absolutely straight up performance, new ball versus new ball.
£25 to £35 a dozen. I love on the website how they got that kind of comparison chart where you go, if you like a Pro V1X, this is the ball you need to be in with us. They do a subscription program, so you don't even have to think about going out and buying balls. If you know how much you're playing golf, they'll just keep sending you month after month.
That is a website you can properly navigate easily, like unlike the Crank one, which is a bit overwhelming.
And there's also a sliding scale, which one of the few brands I've seen in golf that do that for something as consumable like a golf ball. You're going to buy a lot of them. As you buy more, their price gets slightly cheaper. So if you want to buy 4 dozen, they come down £1 or £2.
Yeah, gloves. You can get 3 fizz on gloves, can't you?
Exactly. And I haven't seen that many ball companies doing that, and that made good sense to me. So I think they've got some good stuff going on there. And then, Maxfly we spoke about in the last episode. Really impressed with both those tour balls in testing. Again, not quite the feel, I said, of the Pro V1 or the TP5, but really similar launch data. I'd love to see a bit more of it from robot testing to see if this spin decay stuff and consistency is
I don't think it's out yet, but the way My Golf Spy do their testing, I think that just happened over the summer. Have it been released yet or not? I don't know.
I think they're teasing snippets of it. I don't know the whole thing. Probably will be by the time now. But yeah, it is good stuff. And yes, sure, it's a rival media brand, but it's an interesting thing that I'd like to have a look at.
Someone has to.
Correct, yeah. So
what would you put? Would you Maxfly? Gun to your head?
So I'm going to have to go D2C.
Well, yeah, we're putting a whole bag together.
I'm going Maxfly Tour.
Cool.
Not 4X.
No, you like the softer ones, don't you?
I like the softer ones. So my bag, to recap here.
What are we playing?
Can't remember.
Tour
Edge C725 driver. I'm going to play the new level 702 CB irons.
Big gap. Well, I know we skipped over fairway wood.
I'll just bend a 4 iron to 12 degrees. That's fine.
My tummy's going.
I'm going to play the Sync Golf Joe Up putter.
The Joe Up, that's so cool.
Pop a little bit of money in there, and I'm going to pop a Maxfly Tour on the end of it. Lovely. And then I'll just get Sam to tell me what fairway wood and wedge to put in.
Yeah, there we go.
All right.
Great work, Joe. That was a comprehensive dive into the world of direct-to-consumer products. Any we've missed, let us know, and we'll do some research on them and talk about them, won't we? Because we've probably missed loads.
And if there's something you've tried that you think's awesome and you'd like a little bit more, another opinion on it, or just you think they deserve a bit more exposure, just let me know and I'll try and source them. Always looking for stuff to test for Golf Monthly and the podcast.
Absolutely. Good work, Joe. Thank you very much. And with that, it is time, Johnny, for our favourite part of the show. It's Ask the Pod.
Production assistant Rhea just faked some of the least worst enthusiasm I've ever seen.
Ask the Pod. Ask the Pod. Ask the Pod. Ask the Pod. Thank you, Johnny boy. Right then, Joe.
Well, you said there was a surprise here. I don't like this.
Do you want that first?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
Whatever.
Well, my dad's been in touch for a start.
Okay.
Do you remember we did Maxwell getting a lot of airtime at the minute?
Are we, Dave?
He listens to this in the gym, I believe.
Okay, good.
If that's of interest to anybody.
To the max, Dave.
Do you remember Maxwell?
Keep working.
We mentioned.
Dig in, Dave.
Do you remember Maxwell Australian Blades? We mentioned them and you didn't know why they were called that. Well, my dad said he was listening in the gym and he was yelling. He was yelling at the gym like a mental person.
Is that why people give Dave a wide berth at the gym?
He goes.
Yelling.
He's retired now, so he goes at the quiet times anyway, so he can do stuff like this. They were specifically forged for David Graham, who is an Australian. I learned is an Australian golfer,
Very
and
good
there was
Australian golfer.
Some other Aussie who had them as well. Hence, they got their name Australian Blade. So just a bit of information for you there.
It's an interesting leap, though, isn't it? We just we're going to design a nice new blade around your specifications. Where are you from? Australia, right? It's the Australian blade. Why don't they call it the Graham blade?
Yeah, maybe Australian Blade's got a little bit more wider appeal.
Fair. Okay, well, no, it's good. Thank you, Dave.
Information. YouTube comment from CLF 2108. Again, another alien species. Hello. We come in peace. These new seating positions are jarring. Can you please switch back to your original layout with Joe on the left, Dan on the right? I barely recognise you two. Plus, is that worse for you or me?
I don't know.
Plus, you'll genuinely see show hosts, Dan on the right, and the colour commentator on the left, Joe. This failed experiment and lapse in judgment notwithstanding, this still feels like the best golf gear podcast around.
That's very kind.
Backhandedly. I'd also point to this CLF 2108 on whatever planet you're from. On our planet, Match of the Day. Where did Gary Lineker sit? On screen left.
Yeah.
Eh? And that's one of the biggest shows with host, colour, left,
Parkinson,
right.
Michael Parkinson, he was left and his guest was on the
Graham
right.
Norton on the left.
Yeah.
I think
back to your planet, CLF.
It's he must be American. It's an American thing because all late night host show on the right in
Jimmy
America.
Kimmel.
Jimmy Fallon.
Craig Ferguson.
The Scottish guy. That's an old reference, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm showing your age there. Jimmy, who's the big man with the big head? Jay Leno. Big man with the big head loves his cars.
Yeah.
So maybe it's an American thing, but we're here to stay now, I'm afraid. One of my mates, Will, at the cricket club, hates this position.
Does he? Why?
I don't know. He said, no, it's wrong.
Okay.
He's got a bit of ADHD like you, though, so I think he likes change.
We could just... No, we can't.
I prefer this side of my face.
Yeah.
You prefer that side of your face. It's happened.
Yeah,
Get over it. Right, do you want the surprise Ask the Pod?
Was that not it?
No, there was no questions there, was that? It was just a dressing down.
Okay, cool.
Oh, I can't find it, Joe.
This episode feels like it's 2 hours long.
How long has it been, Johnny?
57 minutes.
That's fine.
But
That's
we've got
quite
Retief.
long.
We've got Retief to come, yeah?
I don't know how long Retief is, though. 5'10", 5'11". Hey. Hi, both. Question for next episode. This came in on YouTube a couple of days ago as we were recording it. Looking at some new iron heads, and based on your reviews, I'm in between P790 and Callaway Elyte. What are the main differences? Forgiveness, feel, head size? Just a quick one. That's from Bradley Cairns.
Yeah, quite a different category there. So Elyte would be very much more in the game improvement market, slightly bigger heel to toe length, just a bigger overall profile.
I thought, because as game improvement irons went, though, I thought that was one of the better looking ones that almost sat in a player's distance conversation.
I mean, it could, yeah. It's one of the player. That's probably where the confusion's coming here, if he is confused in any way, shape, or form. But that might be why he's sort of putting that in against P790, because it's one of the few that doesn't look like a massive shovel
like a hockey
on the
blade.
end of a stick. Yeah, so it could be confused there. But I think, in my experience, you're going to get. It's a tough one. I think if I love that, I love the shelf appeal. I think it's got more shelf appeal, the Elyte, than the P790. Although the P790 looks great, but I still think that Elyte in the bag looks fantastic. From my testing, I think you might get a fraction more ball speed on your miss hits with Elyte than you would P790. I think P790 is still just a mid to high handicap club.
Yeah,
I would suggest, but you know. I've fitted people all the way down into low single figures. I don't know what I'm talking about there. What am I talking about here, Dan? You have surprised me with this one. Main difference is... It's a long pause there.
I think I've broken Joe.
Yeah, I've broken me. Yeah, I just say...
Just some broad things so we can go away and try them.
Slightly more forgiving. So I think your bad days will be better with Elyte. But I think your good days will be better with P790.
That's a lovely
bit
summary.
more workability, and you can do a little bit more with P790 than you can with Elyte.
Great. Thank you, Bradley, for the question. Thank
Thanks
you, Joe, for the
breaking
answer.
me.
I won't surprise you again.
Good. I didn't
Right, the
work.
actual answer pod that we planned for, Joe, is from Reese Hemmingfield. Reese spelled R-E-E-S. I've not seen that before. It could be a Reese.
I've seen that.
Okay, great. Hey, Dan and Joe, hope you're both well. Absolutely love the podcast. It keeps me entertained on my drive to work. In the morning, I work in the pro shop at John O'Gaunt Golf Club in Sutton, Bedfordshire.
John Kemp played from John O'Gaunt Golf Club. John Kemp was one of the foremost amateurs the country's produced. Sort of an older boy in my era who qualified for. I could be completely wrong here.
You're having one today, you are, son. You are having one.
No,
Joe, what's his name? What's his name?
John Kemp. Check John Kemp, John O'Gaunt. I think that was his club. Qualified for like 2 or 3 opens at least. Won a lot of mid-amateur stuff. Was just a real high-end.
He won something.
He's won a lot of stuff. Don't do your research now. If anyone's interested in a high-end amateur golfer from the UK who's achieved a lot of stuff,
Yeah, he represents John O'Gaunt. Yeah.
John Kemp is worth looking up. So,
God, we're on a different planet today.
I wonder why this pod goes on for so long.
My background's in personal training, and we run a gym under the clubhouse focused around golf-specific S&C.
Strength and conditioning.
And also injury prevention.
Christ.
I play off 8, hopefully gets down low enough to do my PGA in the next coming years.
Nice.
My boss / head pro, legend, Tom Sim, has asked if I would like to start getting into doing more custom fittings, hence how I've come to discover your wonderful podcast. However, do you have any more advice on how or where to start researching and learning, as I do find the world of equipment quite overwhelming? Thank you, Reese. And that is an interesting question because we are a great source for this, hopefully, is what we try and be. But where did you learn your stuff? And if people want to find more, even more in depth than this, you know, where did you find this sort of weird niche for you? Not weird, that's harsh. I'm here as well.
Weirdness. Wow, okay. Different
freak.
for me. So you're at a different stage because you're a fully grown and formed adult. So I started a little bit earlier. I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to Reese. You're far from a fully grown and functioning adult. I did a lot of my stuff was just messing around as a junior, extending putters with wooden spoons, hanging around the pro shop, asking to do the regrips because I was bored, watching someone do a reshaft, like learning the club building side, and then
Shadowing, as a child, yeah.
Testing every club in the shop that had a demo and figuring out, that's what that happens when the shaft's heavier and I can't do this with it. Oh, look, this one's got offset. Okay, that's what I'm seeing. So a lot of it was just trial and error for me as a kid and without any sort of guidance, just shadowing and picking stuff up. But moving forward as an adult, if you're looking to get into the sort of custom fitting side of things and you're coming in kind of dry, you're not... Dearie me. You're coming in, without sort of the background. You want to just get started. I think that base of cause and effect was a good start for me. So start doing some research on the ball flight laws. Why does a shot curve right to left? Why does a shot curve left to right? The PGA is a good source of information for that. And if you did want to do your PGA qualification, you need to come down a little bit more in handicap, but one of the modules would be all about ball flight laws and fitting. So
ball flight laws, like the laws of physics?
Specifically,
to do with balls.
And funnily enough, they rewrote those entire laws in the middle of my PGA.
No way. That was a message.
It was just around the period of time where TrackMan was becoming more prevalent,
right,
and proving things wrong. And then, so we were in the midst of coursework exams where we'd started learning about one set of ball flight laws. By the end of the course, we had a completely different set of ball flight laws. So it basically used to say that the ball will start where the club path is going and the ball will finish where the club face is pointing. Mm-hmm. TrackMan basically in Tucson proved that completely wrong and basically said that the club face will have an 80% influence on an iron shot. I can't remember the exact specifics, but the club face will have far more influence on start direction than the path, and it's the relationship with the path and the face that creates it. Anyway, so go and learn the new ball flight laws because they're more accurate and we know them to be true now. So the PGA will be a really good source of information from that. And then in terms of learning, a lot of it has to be done on the battlefield. A lot of it you need to go and try stuff with people. Get some friends and start like messing around with the settings on their drivers.
Full stop.
To change and have a look at when you put them in a lower setting, what happens to that ball flight. You don't need a launch monitor necessarily, just observe. You can do all sorts of stuff just like that, but there are some more official ways.
But good to do that without the pressure of actually being in there fitting somebody at the time. Like, do you imagine you're mucking around and you're just having a laugh and you can see it, and then when you get a real person, a customer, whatever it might be, you're then less like, oh god, this is the first time I'm seeing this.
Yeah, like an apprentice hairdresser. I think they do a lot of watching of the proper hairdressers, and then they'll try it on their mates, won't they? Or a tattooist. A lot of them go and tattoo their mum as their first tattoo, things like that. So
custom fit your mum.
Do that, yeah, custom fit your mum. But in terms of more tangible learning,
custom fit. That's going in the episode title. It's got a good one this week.
Diamond Golf.
DTC Daddy's custom fit your mum.
What he should do is Diamond Golf in the UK are a supplier of components, grips, shafts, club building tools, but they also have a thing called the DGI Academy where they do club building courses, club golf custom fitting courses, which I've had a look at in the past, and they look pretty good and pretty extensive, so that'll give you a good base level knowledge. Contact some tour reps, be a nuisance. I'm the lord of being a nuisance.
You're so good at being a nuisance.
Get on Instagram and start, message Trotty, message Adrian, find out the people who are on the TaylorMade, the Titleist, Cobra, whoever the vans over here, and wait till we've got the British Masters coming up at the Belfry, a million miles away from where you're based. Try and make some contact and ask to see if you can just go and watch them for 2 days. Ask them fit a couple of players and just say you'll do all the clean the bins out and fetch them lunch and sweep up if you can watch this. And as a kind of apprentice thing, I'm sure people would love a bit of help and don't mind giving people a boost up on the ladder. I'd say that would be a good start. Fitting centres, like Precision Golf, like Torex Golf, like Elyte Performance Studios. Again, say, do you mind if I just come and watch some fittings? I really want to learn. I want to know the processes. I want to learn how the launch monitor works. I want to learn everything. I'll be completely quiet, and we'll go and do the sandwich run, whatever it is. Just get in front of the right people who are doing it, and you'll get your own preferences. And I fit in a completely different way now than I did before I went to Precision Golf, after watching Simon Cooper for a long time, and how he would weigh up a player's requirements in swing weight just by watching where and how vigorous the release is, and are they having to work to release, and looking at more stuff visually than I was just before. I was just head down in a laptop looking at data and going, okay, we need to address that. I'll do that with this. Barely looked at the player. I got a much more holistic, and you'll pick stuff up from all sorts of different people. So yeah, and then aside from that, just get at home, be sad, order a lot of takeaways, get on YouTube, watch old TXG content with Ian Fraser, Trotty Golf, Adrian, Trackman University online. You can go and do courses understanding ball flight laws and launch monitor data. So there's loads of different ways there, I think, that you can start to boost your knowledge. And it's not like you need a license for it. It's not like a driving license or a gun license to be a fitter. If you can make an improvement in people, and a PJ qualification might help to give you the credibility to do that. But a lot of the best fitters in the world and best coaches in the world aren't PJ qualified. They're just hugely well independently researched, and all the resources are there at your disposal.
Great work, Joe. And keep listening to Kickpoint the Golf Gear Show.
Right, this needs to move on. Here's Retief for you.
We're having fun, eh? I've got nowhere to be. Right, we should move on to the interview, though. Good luck, Reece.
I thought we were doing our dramatic pause then, because we just played it. All right.
No,
okay.
I was just doing that because it's funny.
Right, okay, good.
Good luck, Reece. Thank you for emailing us. We appreciate it.
Sure.
We appreciate it, don't we, Joe?
Yeah, we do.
Should we move on to the Retief Goosen interview?
Yes,
Shouldn't
no
do
need for that impression at all.
We've not seen it. Sam Diath, our lovely colleague and friend, did this, and we've not seen it yet. Poor from us. I get it, but enjoy it.
Okay, so we have a very exciting video for you here today. I am joined by none other than two-time US Open champion Retief Goosen. Retief, great to meet you. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah.
We are at the beautiful Sunningdale Golf Club for the Senior Open. And we're going to chat a bit about the equipment in your bag today.
Yes, correct.
So I've heard you're a bit of a tinkerer with your clubs. You like your equipment.
Oh, yes. No, I build my own clubs.
Absolutely.
I just tell the guys, send me this head and the shafts and the grips, and I'll put it together.
There can't be many guys on tour who are kind of doing that. A lot of guys must rely on the tour trucks and stuff now.
I find the older generation guys tend to do it a lot. On the Champions Tour back in America, the guys are in there and they know what they want and tinker a little bit here and there. I think the modern guys are a little bit more just send me the club, I'll put it in the bag and off we go.
Yeah, they've already had it all done for them, haven't they? So it's quite interesting though, because I guess you grow probably a closer relationship with your clubs, and you know exactly what's going on if you are building them, right?
Well, yeah, at the end of the day, you know, when you look down at the club standing on a course, you must feel comfortable that it sits right for you, it looks right for you, it doesn't feel like it's going to hook or slice, and you just feel like you can swing away. Once you start staring at it, then it becomes a little difficult.
Absolutely. So, okay, so we'll start with the top end of the bag. You're a Callaway ambassador.
Yeah.
So we've got the full bag going on here, and we're going to start with, you've got the Paradigm AI Smoke Triple Diamond.
Yes, this is last year's model, 8.5 degrees. Sometimes I could tweak it down a little bit, depending if it gets really windy conditions.
Okay.
I've always been somebody to hit it quite high anyway, so I've used a low loft on my drivers before.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's got a hazardous Project X.
Pretty stout shaft there, smoke green, 6.5 TX.
Yeah, so I like it stiff, you know, because I'm a high spinner, the ball, I need something to keep the spin down.
Okay. Yeah, you won't get many stronger kind of shafts than that on the market. And I believe, looking into some research with some of your old equipment, you have your shaft kind of tipped about 1 inch as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of standard what the guys do these days, tip it a little bit. You know, standard, whatever it's allowed these days, length 46, including the grip. And this driver swings at about D0 because I use a heavy grip.
Yep.
You know, I use a Jumbo Max grip, this is almost a 90 gram grip.
Wow, okay.
So it is a heavy grip. I've always liked a mid-sized grip. I've got fairly large hands, and I just find having a little bit more surface contact on the hands is better than having something skinnier in your hand.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of people probably don't experiment enough with the grips, right? A lot of people just take what's off the shelf and that's just what they'll use. And a lot of people don't even realize that you've got so many different options when it comes to grip, not just the grip itself, but layers of tape and all the rest of that.
I mean, grips are, I think, like you say, very underlooked. It's the only contact the contact piece between your body and the club.
Yeah.
And everybody keeps going on about the head and the shaft, but it's quite amazing what difference the flight of the ball becomes when you change grips.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
Jumbo Max, you know, like this grip I use comes probably in about 10 different sizes, you know, starting at extra small all the way to extra large.
And that is one of the smaller ones you've got.
This one is called the XS, extra small.
And it's still pretty large.
And it's bigger than a normal oversized grip.
Yeah.
I mean, Bryson uses the XL, which is, you know, double the size of that. It is something that players, I think, need to really, or amateurs really need to experiment with. It's quite amazing what difference it makes in the flight, the spin of the ball, all that kind of stuff.
Have you done much experimenting with a larger grip, or have you kind of just stuck with what you liked?
I have tried the bigger grip and then go back to what I've used to, but I just sort of, for my hand, I just like the way this one sits in my hand. You know, it doesn't feel overly big. I have, like I say, tried the bigger ones at time, and just keep going back to what you used to. Like I say, you know, you got to be comfortable with what you have in your hands.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. So we've got the big stick out the way. Moving on to the 3-wood here, we've got the original Paradigm, triple diamond again. So again, that lower launching, lower spinning model. But you do have quite a strong loft in that as well. You've got 13.5.
Yes, 13.5 degrees. You know, I probably, you know, sometimes use it more as like a driving club. You know, it's not too often that I hit it off the fairways, unless I have to, you know, but it's more something off the tee. So if I have a 15 degree, I just find off the tee, it just launches too high and spins too much. So
I actually thought you had some custom alignment score lines on the face there, but it's actually because you've hit it so much out the middle of the face, you've created this little ball mark, which is amazing.
Yeah, some of the paint is starting to come out on the face, and it could have been a few times where I chunked it, you know.
But, oh no, it looks pretty good to me. My clubs don't look like that anyway.
Yeah, like you say, this is quite an old model, a few years ago, and
slightly older shaft as well. Speeder.
Very old shaft.
TR's been out for a while. An X-Flex again.
Yeah, X-Flex again.
But like you said, a lot of people, it's funny because I think I've seen a trend recently where a lot of people are going for more lofted fairway wood options now. But like you said, you know, what works for someone might not work for someone else. And you're a high spin, high launch player, and gapping must come into that, right? If you've got an 8.5 degree driver, you probably want something that's a bit stronger in your fairway wood as well. Otherwise, you're getting a pretty big
like
gap.
I say, I hit it high anyway, so 15 degree just gets up into the wind. I hit it nowhere, you know. So yeah, it's a good thing to experiment again for the general guy, you know. Everybody thinks having stronger loft, you're going to hit it further. Not necessarily with the modern equipment. It's all about carry. You know, you get the best spin rate with the carry, and that's how you get your distance.
Exactly, yeah. And stronger loft, you know, like we just said there, if you don't have the speed to get the stronger lofts up in the air a lot of the time,
it's not going to go anywhere. It's going to roll, but
yeah. And on firm courses, that's absolutely fine, isn't it? But and then so we've got an interesting kind of setup here. I see a 16 degree
2 iron
in the bag.
or 1 iron, should I say, and my rescue. These are sort of the two that I decide between what the golf course is going to might play like this week. You know, like at Sunningdale this week was supposed to be very hard and fast, but we've had rain now, so I might put the rescue back in and take this 2 1 iron out. Or I'll put it in if I want to hit it low and let it run.
Find a few tee shots that might work a bit better.
In my next few practice rounds, you know, I'll be seeing one, of course, where I think these two might come in the best for me to use.
Absolutely. Well, we've written a few articles now, actually, that about hybrids are almost like a dying club on tour. You just don't see them in the bags of players that often now. So a lot of guys, you know, we talk about Scotty Scheffler, who recently just won the Open. He's used a 9 wood for most of this year, and I know that's down to the course conditions and where he's playing in the States. But have you kind of experimented with high lofted fairway woods, or
it's very popular, the high lofted fairway woods out the rough.
Yeah.
You know, on a PGA Tour, you're always hitting at a 4-inch rough, and it's so much easier to hit that 9 wood out of it than a 3 iron or a 4 iron, or even a strong rescue. I mean, this is an 18 degree rescue.
Okay.
So. I have not really experimented much. You know, for us on a Champions Tour, the courses aren't that long and the rough isn't that thick.
Yeah.
So I found that having an extra wedge in the bag was more valuable for me than having an extra wood. So yeah, this week, you know, one of these two will stay and the other one will go out.
Yeah.
To have my setup for the week.
Well, you also don't see a lot of guys with driving irons now with steel shafts in. A lot of the guys are putting in graphite shafts for a bit more launch. But like you said, you're someone who kind of might use that as an alternative club off the tee, want something that goes a bit forward and doesn't necessarily spin up. So
yeah, no, this club is purely just set up to go low. You know, I'm not looking at carrying it like a rescue.
It's a placement club.
Yeah, it's more something into the wind, runny, and carry it, let's say, you know, 220, 230 and let it go.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Better roll at 30 yards of rollout, no doubt, I'm sure, with that loft.
Exactly.
And then we move on to where we just talked about there off camera. We've got some new irons in the bag. It looks like the new X-Forged.
Yes, well, the X-Forged blades, this is a sort of a blade face.
Yeah.
But it has a little bit of a cavity area on the back.
Okay.
You know, I talked to the Callaway guys, and I say this iron, you know, it launches the same as the blades, but it's just a little bit more forgiving and probably a little bit more draw biased.
Okay.
Than a blade that sort of wants to open up. You know, it sits a bit more open. This one, with the way they've managed to move the weight out of the toe more up to the side of the club here, has just helped the face close a little bit earlier.
Just release it a touch more.
Yeah.
And what's your kind of preferred shot shape with those irons? Do you like?
I'm generally more of a drawer.
Yeah.
Yes. So for me, I feel they really help on that front.
Okay.
But overall, the launch is the same as the blades. They say it might kick up a little higher, but less spin, which is also good, you know, for me, because I spin it quite high.
Yeah.
A little bit less spin could give me a bit more distance into the wind.
And are those KBS V10s, are they shafts that you've played with before? Are they kind of...
No, this is a brand new shaft I just brought out.
Okay.
And it's 110 gram instead of your normal 120, 125 gram shaft.
So a touch lighter, but still plays, I guess, quite stiff.
Oh yeah, extra stiff shaft, same grips. I must say the shaft, you know, we're not as strong as we used to be when we were young, you know, swing a 130 gram shaft like it was nothing. So The overall weight, you know, by just taking 10, 15 grams, I mean, it's only 10, 15 grams, but it's amazing what a difference it makes in the feel of the overall weight of the club.
Absolutely. And we talked earlier about your swing weight with your driver being D0. Where do you kind of play your irons?
These are swinging, because of the heavier grip, around C8, C7 even.
Okay.
Yeah. So if I would just go and put a normal grip on here, it will swing at D2.
Yeah.
So it's purely because I like feeling the weight a little bit more in my hands.
Okay.
And not necessarily down there where it is, you know, like I say, we're not as strong as we used to be. We can hang on to the club a little longer. And if the more weight you have down there, the more it wants to flip your hands. And by moving the weight a little bit more up in here, it just helps holding onto the face a little longer. I mean, the Bryson DeChambeau's irons, you know, I think swing at C3.
Which is almost crazy because we talk about, you know, you're saying there how you're not quite as strong, obviously, as you used to be.
Yeah.
Someone like Bryson, who's as big as he is and powerful,
but you know, his overall weight of the clubs are very heavy.
Yes.
So it's still a heavy club that he's swinging, but the weight's not necessarily down in the head.
Yes.
And that's the whole idea about the Jumbo Max philosophy is it's got nothing to do with swing weight. It's all about performance. You know, they got 50 different grips you can put on your club, and you can get 50 different results and spins and flight patterns and all that kind of stuff. So it is quite unique. So swing weight doesn't really have anything to do with it. It's just how the club feels and performs.
And that's very personal, right? That's like we've talked about. People like Bryson likes it. It's a super heavy shaft and super heavy makeup.
Yeah.
But just feels lighter in the head.
I mean, the grip he uses is 125 grams.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, it's almost 3 times than a standard grip.
Yeah.
You know, so it is really what he likes to feel. He likes to feel it here in the hands and not way down there at the end.
Yeah. So we've got 4 iron to pitching wedge, it looks like here.
Really, that's really since I joined the PGA Tour, I just found I always used to play a 54 and a 60 and then a pitching wedge, but I had a 3 iron in the bag too.
Okay.
And
like you said,
no, I hardly ever use a 3 iron. You know, I hit more wedges on a Champions Tour than I do on a regular tour. So I decided to change the loft a little, make my pitching wedge a little stronger, and then put in the 50. So I got a 45-degree pitching wedge and then 50, and this 54 has actually been to 55.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then 60. So it's all a 5-degree gap.
Awesome. Yeah, because so standard pitching wedge, that probably comes in a 46, and you bent it about a degree.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome. You know, the lofts on clubs aren't what they used to be in the old days. In the old days, a pitching wedge was 49 degrees, you know, and that was a pitching wedge, or 48. But now, pretty much standard for a pitching wedge is 50 degrees.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
I mean, 45 degrees. But yeah, so there's that 5-degree gap on all of those, and then
you've got some custom grinding there as well, taking off that gap wedge and stamping 50 on there.
Yeah, it is. It's quite a high bounce 50 degree too. So because sometimes if I have a long bunker shot, you know, I use my 50 degree to hit a long.
Soaking it up and play it like a normal bunker shot, but obviously just with a bit more club.
Yeah, because you have less loft. I don't feel like I have to smash it really hard to make it get there. Sometimes, you know, when you have a really grainy lie, chip with that one, because the more bounce, you know, it just doesn't dig as much.
Absolutely, yeah. And we talk about your wedges here. Are these kind of in your bag forever, or again, are you analysing the course? What kind of, you know, ground conditions you're going to be playing on? Do your bounces and grinds change a little because of that?
Not really. I tend to just try and stick with the same ones. I know, like Bernard Langer, he travels with 5 different kind of wedges,
right?
And with different bounces and stuff that he analyzes. Of course, if it's firm, he uses less bounce. If I could play a British Open in the past,
super tight links.
I'll go to less bounce, you know, just to try and get a little under the ball, but. Because the club just bounces off the ground like it's nothing. And
I've seen some previous wedges of yours. There's a little bit of grinding going on here. You're known for kind of taking quite a bit of heel relief off.
Yeah, I like to take a little bit of heel grinding out of here because it just helps, especially when you open the club, just to push the heel back a little bit this way. And it feels like it's pushing the face forward. And instead of it going down there, and it gives you
Just
a
reducing that
very
offset.
offset look, yeah.
And I've noticed that on, I think it was your previous set of X-Forged irons. There was some kind of Japan-only offerings that obviously they've brought out these new ones now, but you had quite a lot of, it was kind of offset and then you had them bent to basically minimize that offset and almost produce an onset look.
Correct. I've never liked a club with loads of offset. For me personally, it just feels like I'm going to hook everything.
And you're someone who likes to draw it, right? So if you get that offset with a bit of
Too much, it feels like it. Yeah. So it's very onset. My clubs, you know, like this pitching wedge. You know, you can see there's the face and the leading edge. There's all one. There's no offset.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you're kind of doing all of that by yourself at home, just bending that until it really suits your eye.
There was times that I would take a 6-iron head and bend it to a 7-iron loft.
Okay.
To even take more offset out.
So really just taking one club more every single time.
Yeah. So I would build a set that the 6-iron they send me is actually I bend it to a 7-iron and I put it in and build it as a 7-iron.
Gotcha.
Just to really get, but this set as it is now has come with very little offset. The longer irons gets a little bit, but anything here from a 7-iron, 8-iron down, it's pretty much onset.
Didn't have to do too much tinkering yourself on these ones.
No.
And then the putter?
Yeah, the putter is obviously a very personal thing.
Yeah.
You know, this is quite an old micro-inch.
The Marksman as well. You don't see many of those models as well, which is quite cool. Got some lead tape in the back there.
Yeah, it is a little. I like a heavy putter. I've always liked a heavy putter. For me, I feel like the putter's just got to have that rhythm in it to make the ball go. I don't want to feel like I'm hitting it.
Just rocking itself almost.
Yeah. And so and the modern putters, you know, everybody uses, you know, the heavy grips or the longer putters. Putters has generally become heavier, which I think is better. You've got more stability for offset hits.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is obviously slightly different. Well, it's actually quite a big different model from what you were using when you won, US Opens using that Yes putter. And what was the reason between, you know, a putter that you've had a lot of success with to go to that larger mallet shape? Was it because of stability and you just found?
Yeah, definitely that. And obviously moving to Callaway, they want me to use the Odyssey putter. And I've tried a few over the years. The Tank was probably the one that I putted very well with too. But my eyesight's not quite as good as it used to be, you know, as you get older. And having just little thicker line, it's just a little easier to...
I was going to say a little custom alignment aid on the top there as well.
Yeah, you know, it came obviously with white lines all the way through, and I just didn't like the really long line. So I just colored it out a little bit to make it a little short. Because my focusing when I look down at a putter is around this area. I'm very much a face aligner too.
Yep.
I look at the face, I look at the line for my lineup, and not just the line.
And I think that's something that's overlooked with a lot of amateur golfers. It's kind of this line works for them, it should work for me. And I'm exactly the same there. As soon as I get the longer putter, for me it looks like it aims left.
Correct.
And that's all down to right, left eye dominance. And like you said, you're very much you aim with the face more than anything. So that alignment aid slightly closer to the face just enhances.
For me, when I look down, these two has to look 90 degrees. And like you say, some of the lines look left to where the face is going. And because my focusing is in this sort of area, the back of the ball, the face, and I don't want to see too much back here.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. And you've got the custom.
Yeah, I got the Jumbo Max
Pretty
grip.
cool.
And you know, it's another heavy grip, 100 grams. I just like the overall weight. And I turned it a little sideways, as you can see.
Okay, yeah, I didn't actually notice that initially.
So it basically, I have a little bit more on this side grip.
Okay.
And it's because I like it. It goes right into my palm like that.
Nice.
You know.
And then that flat side on your right hand as well?
Right. Because I'd lose the, we call it the prayer grip. You know,
almost like a two thumb nowadays.
That's a two thumb, and I call this the prayer grip.
Okay.
And I stand there and pray for every putt to go in. You know? So, but I like it by having that little tongue come out there, basically to fit into my palm of my hand.
Nice. I haven't really seen that before. That's really interesting.
Yeah, I know. It's you know, that's
Something
another
you've just
thing.
tinkered with.
That's another thing. You know, it makes a big difference how you put a grip on the putter. You know, even if I had this the right way around, just having it slightly open.
Yeah.
Changes when you put it down and grip it in your hand. So you can mix around with things like that too, that every time you put a putter down, it aims where you want it to aim in your hands. You don't want to feel like you're manipulating the face. You just put it down, it's there, and you can just rock away.
Like we said, putter kind of does the work. Rock your shoulders, let the putter go.
Yeah.
And in terms of golf ball, we're a Callaway ball player as well.
Callaway Chrome Tour X.
Okay, so slightly firmer, slightly lower spinning ball again.
It is actually more of a higher spinning ball, the X.
Okay.
The X is, I think, the highest spinning ball, the Pro Tour X. It's the harder ball, but it does spin quite a lot, which I like, especially when you're having to hit like 50-yard pitch shots and things like that. The Chrome Tour X Dot is same, but spins a little less. And then the Chrome Tour is their lowest spinning ball. So yeah, I mean, the ball is obviously very important, that you want to play something that you don't spin too much or too little.
Yeah.
It's the most important thing really in the bag now. The golf balls are so good, and it can make quite a big difference on how far you hit it.
And obviously you're getting fitted around that ball as well. So we're talking about how you've got low spin product at the top end of the bag.
Yeah.
That's obviously, you want the most spin you almost can get with the short game, and for distance purposes, essentially, a slightly lower spin with the long game. So that's something you've obviously thought about when testing and building all your equipment at the top end of the bag.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if you hit this ball, let's say with a 7 iron, and it spins too much, you're going to hit it nowhere. You got to, with your club speed and your launch, you got to get a ball that spins good enough so you can stop it, but not too much that you hit it nowhere into the wind.
Yeah.
So, like Bryson is very much somebody that's very spin oriented. Everything is around spin.
Okay.
And that's why he can hit his wedges or short irons so far, because he just has the optimal spin for the speed he hits it at.
Exactly, and he's quite the anomaly with how much force and how powerful he is with those clubs as well.
So for us, it's the same. I like a ball that spin. I don't feel like I can always take spin off. You can hit a half shot or something like that, but it's not easy to
add spin.
If you can't. So for amateurs, they play pinnacles or top flights.
It's not helping them necessarily.
Yeah. And the ball just falls out the air, and it's just because they don't have to spin. Yep. Keep the ball in the air. I mean, at the end of the day, spin keeps the ball in the air. So you got to play the right combination of everything.
Absolutely. And so we've gone through all the major things in your bag.
Yeah.
Is there anything, golfers, can be superstitious. Is there anything that you keep in your bag that might be a bit peculiar, that a ball marker that you always use? Or
not really. I use a picture repair marker that Rolex gave me many years ago.
Okay.
That I
travels with you.
Travels with me, and I always have that in my pocket. Obviously, I hope to repair a lot of pitch marks.
Well, that's a reminder for everyone out there: repair your pitch marks.
But it's a very nice.
Oh, nice! That is quite cool, actually, isn't it?
Yeah. I use plastic tees. I don't like wooden tees. I mean, you hit one shot and it's gone.
Wow.
I use normally have just one tee in my pocket, and it gets me through the round if it doesn't break.
Awesome. Well, Retief, thank you very much for talking us through your bag.
Yeah.
Really interesting setup here. One of the most interesting that we've kind of looked at, and I love the fact that you build your own clubs. That's really cool.
Thank you.
Not many guys out there are doing that nowadays. So thanks again for joining us, guys, and we will see you next time.
Well, that was probably perfect, Joe.
That was probably one of the finest what's in the bags that we've ever seen. What did you think of it, guys? Put it down in the comments below.
Let us know, because we don't. And sorry for not looking at that, Sam, but great work, Sam.
I'm going to now. I'm going to have seen it by the time
it comes out, but not at this exact moment.
No, correct.
Right, time to go, because we're going for too long, and I'm hungry for lunch. So next week, you're going to get to hear about what we had for lunch in the Winner's Triangle Cafe. That's will be the first point of order. The second point of order, Joe, is we are doing, and we're bringing back, Joe,
what are we bringing back?
The head-to-head.
It's a 6-way, isn't it?
So we had a 3-way, didn't we?
Yeah.
Just before Christmas.
Yeah. What a time to be alive that was.
Thank you for sorting that out. And,
you're welcome.
We're now bringing 3 more parties into the bedroom. Because who doesn't want more? More is more.
Well, that's what they say. Once you pop, you can't stop, can you?
Exactly. So the best low handicap irons of 2025. We wanted to do our classic head-to-head, but we thought leaving some out. You want to include everybody in these things, don't you?
Yeah.
So we're going to do the best low handicap irons. Ping Blueprint S, Strixon's ZXi7, TaylorMade P7 CB, Mizuno Pro S3, Titleist T100, Callaway Apex CB are all going to get in a room together and have it.
Yeah, we picked out my top half dozen, and we're going to do a weird scoring system that Dan's adamant he wants to add up on the way. I could have done that beforehand, but he's adamant he wants to do it as we go.
Absolutely.
So stay tuned for another 2.5 hour episode there while Dan's adding up. But yeah, I'm gonna pick my favourites rank them all in terms of looks, feel, playability, workability, shelf appeal, looks behind them, all sorts of categories to figure out quantifiably which my favourite low handicap iron is.
Well, we'll look forward to that, won't we? And then we'll have an interview with Matt Wolf off of Live Golf, because we got to play golf with him. He was kind enough to do a What's in the Bag with us. Non-contracted player and a really interesting chat and a lovely bloke. So a really exciting episode.
I think a lot of people will stay tuned for that one if they watched my video from playing the Live Golf Pro-Am with Matt. I hope it comes across what just a lovely fella he is.
Do you want to know something genuine that happened to me last night? I had a dream about Matt Wolf.
Did you really?
I dreamt we bumped into him again.
This would be good because we really need to extend this episode. Go on.
And he remembered us both.
Why would
by
think
name.
He would? Oh, really?
By name, yeah, exactly. Hold on. Oh, well, they need to test the fire alarms now, so that is our cue to go. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We're back next week for more. Goodbye.
Thanks for your tolerance.